Hey, good morning. It's 9:58 a.m. It is Saturday morning. It is February 24th. I hope everyone's having a beautiful, fun, exciting Saturday, whatever that might look like for you guys. You know, some people might want to go to the park. I know pretty soon it's going to be, I don't know, what you call spring, where it gets kind of windy and stuff, which is nice. You know, I used to like going out for kite rides with my son, and sometimes I would actually take a kite and go out there by myself. There's something very nice and relaxing about seeing a kite just kind of floating up in the sky. You know, it's very I don't know, inspiring, I guess, you know, and it can be fun. And I know a lot of adults do it, so don't be ashamed if you actually want to go out and do some kite flying this spring. It's actually fun for the family. You could actually make your own kite. You know, you can look on the internet and make your own, or you can get one you know, from I don't know, from the toy stores or whatever. That's usually where I used to get them, at toy stores. If you want a nice sturdy kite that's actually going to last a long time, you might have to shell out a little bit of money for one. But you know, that's okay. You know, if it's something that you really want to do. So anyway, today I was thinking, I did not fall asleep last night. I had so much on my mind. You know, there's just so much. You know, I'm trying to get on with my life, and the more I start thinking about this issue, which God knows I have way too much time on my hands, you know, there's a lot of things that come into my mind about, you know, the mistreatment of my father and the mind control that went on in the 1970s, 80s, and, you know, and possibly even now that might go on in the Lancaster, California community. Um, I know that people thought that my dad was too forward to bring in, you know, me, okay, because obviously I came from a foreign background and I was obviously a clone, but, you know, that shouldn't be too much of a surprise in the Lancaster community, seeing as how there were a lot of clones in that community. But at the same time, it's like, I wanted to say that, you know, I want to address, you know, some of the memories, I guess, I have of the people turning against my father, and I didn't know what was going on at the time. But I will acknowledge the fact that people basically helped put to death an innocent man. My father was not an antichrist person. He was a lot like me when it came to his stance on organized religion. He wanted to make sure that he didn't want to associate with things that seemed crooked. Okay, so people had this whole thing turned upside down. My father was somebody who valued spiritual knowledge, and I know that growing up, my family never forced us into religion. Okay, never did that. But we never disrespected anything that related to anyone's belief. I know that my father quoted the Bible, just like me. I quote the Bible a lot. I grew up reading the Bible because, like I said, I studied with Jehovah's Witnesses and stuff. My father would quote the Bible a lot. My father had his own Bible that he would sit there and be on the floor sometime, thumbing through, looking at, reading. Okay, so people had, you know, my father. They crucified my father. They basically, you know, blacklisted him. They, what do you call, ostracized my father, and he didn't deserve it. He didn't deserve any of that. And it was like a lot of propaganda that went on at that time. And, you know, I can't help but think of, you know, the story that was written by Shirley Jackson. I think I mentioned it before, the lottery, where, you know, in the lottery, each year in the story, they come together in this particular town, and each member of the family comes in and picks a lot. And what they do is they ritualistically sacrifice a person in a community, right? Thinking that it's actually going to be better for them. And then what they do after they sacrifice the person, they just go back to their daily routine. So in the beginning of the movie, or actually the story, okay, it's a very short story. You can actually look it up online. It's actually available on PDF. It's part of the school literature too, so a lot of kids in school probably read it. But basically, you know, it starts off with, you know, this lady. She's kind of late to the event. She's supposed to go to the lottery. She goes each year, but everything pretty much is conducted like everyday normal everyday type stuff. Like, you know, in the beginning, she's running late and she's busy doing the dishes, cleaning up the house and stuff. She wants to make sure she gets there in time, right? But the activity is just like an everyday thing. They don't think about the tragedy of the lives that are going to be lost. They just literally show up each year, kill somebody, and go back and mind their own business. And I know that Shirley Jackson got a lot of flack for writing that story because they felt it, so it was a little bit shocking. But I do think it kind of pressed on people's conscience because people kind of do that sort of activity anyway. Not necessarily bringing together, stones to stone somebody to death, but people do get together. They conspire against other people. They kill other people, put the wheels in motion to kill the other people, and then they go about their daily business like it's nothing. Okay, so there were a few people that I remember in Lancaster that would come by and acting like they cared, And I remember this one lady, I'm not going to mention her name, but she had that little smile on her face, like she was kind of like asking, how's your dad doing? I noticed that, because my parents used to keep the lawn up, they used to, my dad was really good at taking care of his lawn and his flowers. But when he got sick, he obviously couldn't keep up with it. So she knew what was going on, but she was just wanting to know, get a kind of a thrill out of checking in and seeing how miserable shit really was for us. Fuck you. I'm glad that bitch is dead. That's all I got to say about that. You know what I mean? Of course, I have a lot of animosity towards people who knew or were a part of my father's death. I mean, that's going to be normal. Right? I have every reason to feel that way. And I didn't even understand what was actually going on in that community until just recently. You know what I mean? Knowing that there was clones and then the people accusing my father of being the Antichrist and all this other stuff. It was a very, I don't know. I just remember growing up in Lancaster and knowing that I was around people that were very close-minded and had serious problems. Like a lot of people, looking back now, I see how brainwashed they really were. And I'm not trying to point the finger at the Lancaster community specifically, because I do know that there was a head honcho and there was a mastermind of all of this, okay? But this is just a good example of people who act on, impulse, people who have that kind of herd mentality, that are quick to point the finger and literally kill people and ruin their lives and think nothing of it. You know what I mean? I was upset yesterday because I made a video addressing my frustration of this, which I don't think is funny, okay? I made a comment about the Pyramid Boy, thinking any of this is funny. I will tell you, when I think about my ancestral line of my apparently my blood father in first life, feeling that he had to kill himself to get out of a situation, and then in this life, my father being put to death by an operation, and you still think it's funny to bother me online, or you think it's okay to play with my life or make any sort of joke out of my life whatsoever, you are completely in the wrong, and it is inappropriate. So I was not wrong for me to, it wasn't wrong for me, and I don't feel bad about making that statement. None of this is funny. I don't take any of it as a joke. It is a very serious situation. So, I suggest you wipe that stupid fucking grin off your face. Anyway, yeah, I did that video, Cold Moon, and I did that because it was becoming really clear to me on this whole situation and how our family name, I say the Gordon name or whatever, and why my brother Rashawn would turn against my father. But this is what targeting does. Okay, it literally destroys families. I didn't know that my brother had that much animosity against my father, but he would sit here and talk against my father, and then I was like, I had no idea that people even thought of me as the Antichrist. You know what I mean? That's crazy. And everybody knew at that time that I was growing up. I know kids make fun of me because I spent my time reading religious materials from Jehovah's Witnesses, which is a Christian denomination. So like I said, I know a lot of this was based on racial hatred more so than it was religious. But can you honestly tell me that these people who put my father to death remind you of anything? relating to Jesus. That was not a very peaceful thing to do. It was a wicked thing to do. So you see a lot of people who are brainwashed who think that they're doing something righteous. And when I did that video, Cold Moon, I was basically saying, hey, I understand what this experiment was about, what it was, who started it, what was behind it, and that was obviously should have told people, hey, that shit was wicked. So people who might have a conscience might feel bad about it, but I don't expect that. I don't expect pity, but I do want people to understand, hey, my father was not a bad man. And he was not the Antichrist. He was somebody who cared about, his spiritual path, and he did care about having information. He wasn't the kind of person that was just going to sit here and believe something. Okay, so I have to continue with part two because my tablet, I accidentally cut it off. But I was saying is that my father wasn't the kind of person that was just going to believe something just because somebody told him that. You know what I mean? And I think what bothers a lot of people who want to initiate hate campaigns or whatever is when you're dealing with somebody who was like my father or someone like myself who pretty much has information knowing that you can't pull the wool over our eyes. That becomes very frustrating for people. So a lot of people say things like, if you go woke, you go broke, because obviously people who have what do you call it, who are conscious, who are who like to expand their minds, who understand certain things, they're not going to be a part of a system that is this destructive. They obviously know not to engage in stuff like that. So when you're not supporting a system that's wicked, you do experience a lot of setbacks. You do experience a lot of issues. And you don't even have to be somebody who is, what do you call it? Like, I've never been active. I've never spoke against any religion. I've never been anti anything. You know what I mean? But it's just the fact that when they try to lay out traps for you, obviously you're already aware that people like this do exist. So you're not going to fall in for their bullshit. And this is what frustrates them so much. Obviously, my father did participate in the experiment. I don't think that he anticipated it or expected it to go the way that it did. Obviously, he did not expect it to be this way. He just probably thought it was going to be kind of cool to have like an old ancestor, or me, you know what I mean, with him in this life, you know what I mean? Something simple and basic as that, I don't believe that he knew that all of this was going to happen. Obviously, the people who got involved, the man I mentioned before, who used to come over to our house, who visited at Edwards Air Force Base, and also came around visiting us at the house when I was a little kid, I always thought of him as a nice man. And in the last few month or so, I've gotten messages knowing that he was actually a very crooked person. You know what I mean? Because he used to come in and he would hug me, hold me, kiss me on my cheek and shit like that. But like I said, this whole program was like based off of Joseph Mengele, so he cannot easily do that. He doesn't have a conscience. You know what I mean? I've dealt with people who literally had no conscience. Evil, wicked people all my life. And like I said, this is part of what I deal with when it comes to my social anxiety, because everybody who is associated with this program is wicked. Anybody who initiated this, came down and participated in it, you're wicked. So obviously they keep you in this little bubble of wickedness, right? So it's like, you can never really feel comfortable about, talking to people. I don't know if I recorded this on the other part of the video, but I was talking about, I might be repeating myself in the other half of this video because, like I said, my tablet got cut off, so I had to redo this. But when I was talking about the infiltration when it comes to human trafficking, gang stalking, and stuff like this is now the time right now, because everybody knows that this sort of stuff is going around. Targeting is happening to people everywhere, and you need to protect your families and let them know, hey, we don't talk about things about our families. We do not divulge information. We keep our family together. You know what I mean? You make sure that you do not let people, infiltrate into your... Be very leery about people asking you questions. Even, I hate to say it, but even on your own kids and stuff. You know what I mean? Even your siblings and stuff like that. Sadly, nobody can be trusted in these situations, because these people these infiltrators, these targeting people, will use anybody against you. Nothing is sacred to them. Your family is the most sacred thing that you have in this life, and you really need to understand that. Your family is sacred. And if you want to keep them together, you have to have a conversation with your family, letting them know that this sort of stuff goes on. Like when I was a kid, everything was flowery. Oh, we had the fairy tales, we had the cute little cartoons. Everything is painted out nice and wonderful. You got people thinking about their future, people thinking that, everything's going to be great when they grow up and all this other stuff. People need to be warned about the evils in this world. And it's sad to have that conversation with your kid, but eventually one day you will be very grateful that you did. You know what I mean? The world is not a peaceful place. The world is filled with chaos. It is filled with evil, wicked people with terrible intentions. Okay, and you've got to let your family be aware of that. Somehow, some way, you got to strike up that conversation. About keeping things private, about keeping things protected. Okay, you've got to figure out a way to do that. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut up this video. Stay tuned. Hang on, the other half of this video is coming up, okay? Because like I said, I'm having to do this backwards. God forbid. Anyway, I'm going to try to start my day and get started on my videos that I want to finish. And I'm going to go ahead and move on to part 3. Thank you. Okay, looks like I turned off my camera. But, nobody can... I also got the message that the people in the higher part of the pyramid, as well as people kind of coasting down on that pyramid, know that they're in the wrong. Okay, so I don't expect anyone to retaliate against me for basically the only thing I can do. It puts me in a situation where the only thing I can do is talk about it, make videos, because I have no one to talk to about it. They make sure they do that. This is what's so destructive about it. And what I wanted to talk to people about was the dangers of human trafficking and the dangers of gang stalking. And I really think that now is the time, if you have a family and you care about them, it's important that you understand how to protect yourself from this sort of thing. First of all, you should have your family and let them know that you guys need to be a solid foundation, and you do not sit here and talk about each other to other people. You do not divulge information freely with other people. It's sad that you have to be this way, but this is the sort of stuff that they do. They will infiltrate. They will use your own family against you in these sort of situations. This is why I'm talking about infiltration. Like I said, I want to make sure that people like Pyramids, Voice Energy never comes into my house. Okay, if you say something off color to me or whatever, I'm going to catch it, and I'm not going to respond appropriately or accordingly to what the people want me to do, because it gets to the point where you just get tired of people. The infiltration becomes, alarming, because they don't care about the destruction that they caused. They don't care about that at all. As a matter of fact, because they're narcissistic people, they have no concept of the kind of damage that they do. And I don't expect any fucking apology, but I do expect you to get the hell out of my life. So what else? So I do get the feeling that they do understand that, yeah, it is their fault. Okay, I don't want a relationship with these people. I don't like the fact that these people would even have anything to do with my life at all. That kept me up last night because it freaks me the fuck out. Okay, anybody who would think that you would think that you could stand in my way and think it's funny after you've caused all of this. Maybe you didn't do it yourself, but your family fucking sure as hell did, and think that it's funny. I do not have a sense of humor of any of your mistreatment. Okay, you are, to me, something that is so goddamn fucking evil that I can't even stand it. Like, it literally kept me up last night. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that I'm understood. I don't want to deal with your stuff. Also, I do get the feeling that there are people still talking about the news coverage of this whole clone thing. I don't know if anything's ever going to happen with it. I doubt it, okay? I'm sure there's a lot of people who want to protect themselves and don't want to sit here, because it leads to questions, you know what I mean? I don't know how that works. And I really don't care whether it gets coverage or not, mainly because the only thing I care about right now, the only fucking thing I care about, is making money and paying off my bills. I want my car paid off. I want my credit cards paid off. I want the IRS paid off. I want to leave Bakersfield. I want to get on with my life. And the stagnation that I feel, that I've been dealing with, is because of stupid pyramid boy. And then on the top of it, he thinks that I'm sitting here complaining over nothing. That's bullshit. I have every right to complain. You know what I mean? You're practicing genocide, and I'm fucking sick and tired of dealing with it. There's nothing funny about it. The only person who thinks it's funny is people like you. That's it. And anybody who, if you got people sitting on the sidelines thinking it's funny, then they're fucking just as wicked as you are. I don't really care if they cover the Prince Alamehu story or not. People know, okay? People know about the Prince Alamehu thing. Everybody in this country knows about it. In other countries, too. As a matter of fact, I do believe the fact that I was under surveillance back in, I think it was like when I was living with my ex-husband. And then I think I might have been under surveillance when I was staying with my mom in 2014. I don't know. Okay. But the stupid part is that they allowed this to be surveilled, okay, and other people know. So they got basically caught in their own fucking game. Nobody can say that these people are innocent or they didn't have a hand in it. These people did this in a public manner, okay? They made a big mistake. Big mistake. But I am still continuing to work in my videos. I haven't turned on my computer yet. I want to finish my video. Like I said, I deal with social anxiety to the point of where it is very difficult for me to turn on my computer. I do not like the interaction with, what do you call it? I don't like dealing with any of their stagnation. I don't like dealing with any of the signs or their existence. I don't like having anything to do with it. You know what I mean? I have not checked my Patreon account. I do recall giving a deadline. I don't know if they have met that yet. I haven't checked, okay? Because like I said, it takes a lot of me. It takes a lot of psychological, mental work in order to get the nerve to even check my emails, okay? Because these people have literally came into this country and created a form of terrorism by baiting me online for stupid jobs, stupid job interviews. I would get stupid emails. I don't know. I was thinking about the one from Indeed.com yesterday. Fuck those people. Okay, fuck you and everyone else who thinks that it's okay to send me that sort of stuff because I don't want to see it. Okay, you know good and well I would not work. I don't want to ever go back to the workplace. I have no. I can't. Psychologically, I cannot go back to a workplace. Okay, what you guys do is extremely damaging, and you know that it is. Okay, but yeah, I do want to continue making my Patreon series. This is what I choose to do to make my living. Okay, I don't have any other options. I am not able to work in the workplace. And I know that people were complaining about me talking about the stagnation of what's going on with my Patreon account. Like I said, after you were responsible for killing my father, I don't think you have any right to sit here and say anything about that. Okay, and I don't really, I'm just, I think you get the message. If you don't, then I'm going to write you off as a fucking retard, at this point. But, yeah, anyway, I did want to talk a little bit about the Swan Song Manifesto. The Swan Song Manifesto is something that I think is important because, the occult has been a part of my life pretty much forever. And since I was born, basically. And I do see that there is a spiritual connection that is vibrating on Earth on a daily basis, and a lot of people have those interests, and it's like, well, if you have an interest in that sort of stuff, I think it's important that you join me, and, we can talk about those sort of things. I do know that there is a magical history in just about every culture. I know a lot of people have been distanced from their culture, and a lot of people have been left in the dark about who they really are, the origins of who they are, right? And I know that a lot of people are kind of scattered right now. And so, the Swan Song Manifesto is, I've been reading so many different forms of magic throughout the years, and not all of it necessarily relates to my race, but I do think it's important that people understand, that there is beauty in different signs, and there are signs on the universe, from the universe that get showed to us every day, and hey, I'm just saying, hey, point it out, look at it, know what it is, know what it means, know that, you know, you too can get tapped in to, you know, the wealth of, you know, spiritual knowledge, and that's what I want to do. And then also, I do think it's important that people embrace their own identity. So I'm very open and flexible. So I do kind of cover different cultures and on my channel, my content. So and also because I understand that this is the later part of my life, this is a way of me recording my work, the reflections of who I am, what I believe in, and how I'm going to end the rest of my life. So it is, you know, I say that it's good work, and I know that it can be better. It's just that I feel as though I'm always kind of dealing with stagnation that's beyond my control due to the people who murdered my father. Moving on. So I think that's pretty much the only thing I really wanted to say this morning. I might have to come back and edit this video because I know the camera shut off somewhere mid part of it. So if I can remember what I said, I have to listen to this and then kind of patch it up. But I will be back with another video probably sometime today. I'm hoping to finish my video, The Plants of the Mind. That's one thing that I wanted to get done. And I've really been feeling like, you know, like I said, you know, it's like you never know what these people are going to do. So it's like, you know, you're wondering, is there any point to what I'm doing? And I know they do this on purpose, okay? But like I said, I don't appreciate your mind games, especially considering all that you've done. Okay, I don't like anything about you people at all. Like I said it, I mean, I just came straight out and said it. Because sometimes you have to tell people directly that you fucking hate them, okay? And I know that sounds really cold, but because otherwise they're going to just constantly terrorize you with their presence. Okay, you hate somebody, you know they freak you out, you don't like it, they come around, and you basically try to let them know, hey, I'm not comfortable with you, but they don't get it. Sometimes you just have to come right out and say it. Look, I fucking hate you, okay? That's just how it is. So don't get any ideas that we're going to be friends. That's not going to happen. And you have to make sure that's understood so you can put a nip in the bud. Any other attempts to try to get to me, I'm just going to keep talking more shit, and I'll do anything I possibly can to get you the fuck away from me. It is that serious, okay? You know? So, anyway. You gotta be bold sometimes, you know what I mean? You just have to be. You have to be. Otherwise, like I said, you're just gonna get more shit that you don't want. So I'll be back with another video, guys. In the meantime, enjoy your weekend. Take time out for yourself. Love yourself. And I'll be back and see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.